Hi, I'm Krislyn and I'm an artist here in downtown Bryan. When we were kids, my brother and I were little pyromaniacs who loved to sit and play around a campfire. One of my favorite things to do was to get a long stick and burn one end of it in the fire so that I could use it to write on things like rocks and leaves and whatever else was laying around. You might have done the same thing before. What I didn't realize is that charred blackened end of the stick is actually charcoal, and it's one of the oldest writing utensils ever invented. Ancient cavemen did the exact same thing, taking leftover pieces of charcoal from their fires and using them to draw on the walls of their caves. Some of those drawings are still around, and they're some of the oldest works of art in the world. A lot of artists today still use charcoal, and I'm one of them. So today I'm going to be doing a drawing for you guys and show you some of the tools and techniques that go into it.
I start with the artist chamois. The artist chamois is really just a very soft piece of leather that I use to spread charcoal dust on the paper. I can also use a cleaner chamois to remove that charcoal dust. Here I'm using it to create the gradient of the sky.
This is a particularly soft variety of charcoal called vine or willow charcoal. It's used mostly for sketching because I can simply make a mark with it and then wipe it off of the paper with my fingers almost like it's a dry erase board.
This is compressed charcoal. It's a lot more dense and heavy than the vine charcoal and a lot more difficult to erase, but it is very useful for shading large areas. Charcoal also comes in a handy-dandy pencil form, good for fine lines and detailed shading. I'm basing this drawing off of a photo I took the other day of an airstream over Bryan Avenue. You can see me referencing the original photograph from my phone.
These are tortillas. They're made of very tightly rolled paper, and we use them for smoothing. Once the end gets too dirty, we can clean them by filing off the dirty end with sandpaper.
There's also white charcoal available, though that white charcoal is actually brighter than the paper that I'm using, which is why I'm saving it only for the very brightest part of the picture.
For most of history, most artists only used charcoal for sketching, not for finished masterpieces. That's because charcoal smears way too easily. That's why I have to be so careful about how I touch the paper while I'm working. Luckily for us, nowadays we have spray fixative that we can use to help this charcoal stay on the paper and not smear after we're finished with it. So there's our final piece. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. Hope you learned something, and I really hope you enjoy the rest of WorldFest.